Dungeons & Dragons. You might have heard of this game before, appearing in shows like Stranger Things or from podcasts like Critical Role. If you haven't heard of the game, that's okay too. I'm here to help you understand why Dungeons & Dragons isn't just a game for nerds. It actually encourages adolescent development in many ways, such as through leadership, social inclusion, and problem solving. You see, Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game based on imagination, so there's not much you'll need to start playing. In fact, all you need to start is a character sheet, a pencil, and a notepaper, a set of dice, and this beautiful player handbook. There are two roles in this game, the Dungeon Master, or DM for short, and the players. The players will create fictional characters that have different skill sets and are meant to work together through challenges that the Dungeon Master gives them. The game revolves around this 20-sided dice, or D20. Players will roll this dice to see how they complete a task, with 1 being the lowest and worst outcome, and 20 being the highest and best outcome. Now, let's join in on this group's game and see how leadership, social inclusion, and the problem solving are fostered through playing Dungeons & Dragons. So everyone, welcome to our first campaign. I'll be your Dungeon Master.
So, the Dungeon Master's role is to create an exciting world in which the players can live, accomplish tasks, and level up.
You see, the DM has to be imaginative while guiding their players through social interactions and scenarios that need to be solved through complicated means. As the leader of the group, it is important for the DM to give responses that will guide their players down the right path. For adolescents, it is important for them to understand how to communicate with others. At this point in their lives, they are entering a period in which leadership is a quality that is necessary for the adult world.
It is important to realize that as a Dungeon Master, you control almost every aspect of the game, but ultimately, the decisions that your players make control the flow of the game.
So, before we begin, let's introduce ourselves. Sierra, would you like to start us off?
For sure. My character is a halfling bard who uses the magic of song and inspiration, and I chose this character because they really value personal relationships, often find themselves seeking community, and they use their powers to help others. What about you, Madenn?
Okay, well, my character is a half-human, half-elf rogue. They specialize in finding traps and sneaking around to get a sense of their environment. I really like them because they're really crafty and they can solve their way through any puzzle. And they also ask their friends a lot to help them.
Alright, let's get started. So, you all approach a town, and you see two people arguing over the price of a legendary sword, which could be useful to your party. You two must talk to both of these people and convince them to give up the sword without using any violence.
This seems like a situation in which we could work together.
Dungeons & Dragons is very effective at promoting social inclusion. It allows kids to bond and relate to each other within the setting of a fantasy world, which gives them a sense of community. Having a community that one can relate to is very important because it will help to avoid social anxiety and encourage a sense of belonging. In addition, players must communicate to make decisions as a group, promoting healthy discussion, which is great practice for real-life conflicts. Lastly, it is important that a developing adolescent feels supported, and a social group such as this can help provide that support.
Nice job, you two. You diffused the situation very well. Through using your charm and words to talk down the two characters, they agree to give you the sword at a very agreeable price. Alright, now that you've done that, next your group must travel across the land to a large mountainscape, where you enter an old dwarven mine. Upon arriving at the entrance, it is locked and covered in rooms that reveal an intricate mechanism that can be used to unlock a door.
Okay, maybe we can use a bit of problem solving here. Let's see.
In Dungeons & Dragons, oftentimes there are situations that require cooperation between players to figure out the way through a problem. This is good practice for developing adolescents specifically. Through practicing problem solving in D&D, they will be able to think through issues they encounter in the real world with more clarity and creativity. They will be able to come up with solutions that may or may not work, and then have the perseverance to try again when they fail. Practice is one of the most important aspects of acquiring long-term knowledge, and D&D is the perfect environment for adolescents to get that practice with problem solving.
Nice job, you two. You did it. You used your past experiences to solve the riddle and fit the puzzle to unlock the door. Thank you guys for the game. It was very fun. Dungeons & Dragons is a great way for kids to get together with their friends, expand their leadership development, work through problems, and have fun. Although the game does require some resources, like dice and rulebooks, to begin playing, there are multiple free online resources for helping with understanding rules, and one dice set can be easily shared amongst friends. The most important part of D&D is have fun together, so express your creativity and play today.